Hey guys, what is going on? So I just wanted to discuss my recent PR streak, which I post all my PRs on Instagram if you're interested in that. Yesterday I hit 315 for 7 on the incline, and I hit 295 immediately after for 11. That's my most recent one. But this recent PR streak that I've had has sparked some controversy. Just people, DMing me or leaving comments or whatever, no videos or natty or knots or anything. But I started to have some people accusing me of, being on PEDs, which it's not my first time, but they're starting to mount up, which is a logical thing because the rate of progress that I've been making just seems very suspicious. And I totally understand that. And if I were on the outside looking in, I'd be like, yeah, there's no way, right? Especially with the amount of time that I've been training. Okay, so I just want to clear the air on that, talk about everything that's happening and why it's happening the way that it is and my theories as to why this is helping. Okay, so, obviously to address, I'm not on PEDs unless you count Turkesterone and Ecdysterone as PEDs. And I'm taking those. Obviously, I'm very transparent about that. And I think there are other factors involved. It's not just simply me being on Turkesterone or Ecdysterone that makes me hit these PRs. It's a number of things, right? And I talk about these things and I preach them, and I know that the people making these comments are probably not subscribed to me, or maybe they are and they haven't seen all my videos, which I don't think anybody has. But there's so many factors at play here. So obviously, we know I take Turkesterone and Ecdysterone. We know that they work. Okay, let's just put that aside for now. What about the other factors? What else is contributing to this? Why is this happening the way that it is? Why am I seeing these results after a year of using this stuff and not just like immediately? Okay, so I did see some results relatively early taking this stuff, but I'm starting to see these best in my adult life results that are comparable to like a new lifter essentially. And, there are multiple factors at play here. And the first one that I will get into later, but I just want to address this, is the calorie surplus. Okay, I've been bulking for nearly 6 months at this point, and that's a huge factor. It's probably a bigger factor than the Turk. I don't really know. I can't really assign percentages to these things, but obviously a calorie surplus, bulking for an extended period of time, being at a higher body fat percentage is going to be beneficial. Okay, so that's obvious. I can touch on that a bit more later. What I really want to talk about is my training. Okay. And people think that the training style that I do is stupid, and people always ask what program I'm running or how I'm able to do this. And I think the training is something that goes overlooked. I think, obviously the calorie surplus is beneficial. Obviously a lot of people think the Turk and Ecdy are magical, which, they're very beneficial, but it's not like all the gains I'm making are just simply due to them. I think a lot of it has to do with my training style and what I've been doing over the past couple of years and how it's kind of coming together. So I basically, not to get into too much detail, but I've been preaching about nucleus overload training for a couple years now, okay? I don't sell any programs. None of this is like me trying to sell you a program or anything like that. It's just simply the methods that I've tried. I refer to other people and their training styles. So nucleus overload is from Megan from Team 3 Alpha. All the information you need about nucleus overload is over there. I'm not going to be the guy to tell you everything about it, but I've been practicing it for a while. And one of the main strategies of that, or one of the main ideas behind it, is that you actually build up the ability to perform better, both in terms of gaining size and strength in the future. So you basically train now to get better later. Now, it's not that simple, but that's one of the concepts, okay? So I've been doing this for 2 years. So I think I'm starting to see some of that come to fruition. I also did triphasic pretty recently, and that is both a peaking program, which allowed me to hit a 405 bench and hit like a 265 overhead press, but also it is something that I now implement into my training regularly. And I think I've been able to, maintain a lot of that, ability to absorb force that I've learned through triphasic, keep those strategies and keep implementing them while also doing other things as well. Because when I was doing triphasic, it was very hyper specific on just 2 lifts and realistically just 1 lift being the bench press. Okay. So I was doing that. The first 3-4 months of my bulk, I was adding muscle. Okay. So I was able to build more muscle from where I was at before when I was hitting PRs, but I wasn't hitting PRs during this period because I wasn't doing strength training. Okay. So I was building muscle to then allow myself to hit more PRs in the future. And I talk about this all the time, right? dedicating certain periods to hypertrophy can be beneficial to gaining muscle, but it might not be the best for your strength in the short term, okay? And this was clearly the case for me. My strength actually went down during this hypertrophy phase, but I clearly gained muscle once I started doing strength training again. Look what happened. I got stronger because I had more muscle to work with, and I was also doing strength training. So those combined, paired with nucleus overload, paired with the calorie surplus, paired with the turkesterone and ecdysterone, right? It all kind of came together. So this is just simply saying that all of these factors come together to create an environment where PRs are extremely likely, because I've accumulated all of these myonuclei, I've gotten bigger, and I'm implementing the strategies I've been talking about for a long time now. And I'm doing them all while being in a calorie surplus, while taking these supplements, and it's all coming together, right? And take that and then factor in that the mindset that I have going into the gym every day, feeling like I can hit a PR because I've been doing nonstop PRs for the last month. It's like I always think I'm going to hit a PR when I go into the gym. And that is, you cannot replace that mindset. Going from that mindset to where I was at, just over a year ago, where I hadn't put any, weight on my bench, I hadn't gained any muscle, it's night and day. And I wasn't in a calorie surplus back then either. So doing all of these things, having all of these variables come together all at the same time, and then having the mindset, which is a huge factor. I mean, it's why the placebo effect works, is because your mind's role in your progress. I mean, all of these things combined is why I'm seeing this progress, okay? So what percentage of this is mindset? What percentage of this is a calorie surplus? What percentage is my training? And what percentage is turkesterone and ecdysterone? I couldn't tell you. But what I can say is all of these things that I've been preaching this whole time, now that they're all coming together, it just looks unnatural. It looks like a rate that cannot be achieved naturally in terms of progression. And it's just kind of frustrating because, this basically confirms that I've been right about these things, and I've been continuing to preach about these things. And it just gets me, people accusing me that I'm unnatural. And it's a compliment, and I'm happy that I'm getting it. At the end of the day, I would rather be getting these compliments of people thinking I'm unnatural. But for those who know better, or for those who have been following all the things that I've been saying, this is just me kind of confirming that these things work. So it's not to say that I know everything. It's just that I'm in this unique position where the experiments that I've ran in the past couple of years have all been good experiments, or at least in terms of their results. And that's what you're seeing. You're just seeing the fruits of my labor all come together at once. But it's been a long process. It's not just all it's like the overnight success story, right? You lay your roots over a long period of time, and then everybody sees your explosion all at once, and that's what these PRs are. But it's not that simple, right? And I hope that that kind of shines some light on that. And hopefully it gets people to, at the very least, experiment with their training styles, and hopefully be in a calorie surplus as well. I mean, it's winter time. Let's get those cows in and let's grow a little bit more. So anyway, that's all I got to say about that. I'll keep you updated, and I'll talk to you soon.